Hey everyone, and welcome back to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. In this week's episode, we are live and we are recapping the WGI Championships. We'll also find out what made Trish say,
I said, I don't care if we got a 5. I don't. You did.
And why Whitney said,
because they looked a little bit smaller, but they were doing ridiculous things. So it was like, yeah, that's them.
All this and more on this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Hey everyone, it's Ricardo back again, and we have a great episode this week. And I don't know how this will all turn out, but we are live right now on YouTube. So if you have questions or you want to be a part of the broadcast, come on over to the sidelines and join us. Jackie, Nicole, and Steven had so much fun doing the live that we decided to do another one. So before we see who's on the sidelines this week, go and subscribe on your favorite listening app. Write us a review, and then please, the most important part of this is share it with a friend. Got a question or a good topic to talk about? Email us at cast@gmail.com or find us on social media and DM us if you want to be on the show. We even have a form now for you to fill out if you want to be a guest. Check it out at our link in the bio. So let's move over and see who's on the sidelines this week. Trish, my darling.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sad that I didn't get to spend that much time with you last weekend.
No, but I did see you out there with Tampa Independent, who was fabulous.
Oh, thank you. They're great kids to teach, man. It was nice seeing them. I've been getting comments and pictures of me on the floor scrubbing the water off of the floor so we can get a penalty.
I hear you.
So Whitney is going to be a little bit late to rehearsal tonight. So we're just going to, ski past her right now. And also, I believe that Cynthia might be joining us, but you know how the Canadians are. They operate in their own time frame. So we're going to get to those people when they get here. So we want to take this time to preview some amazing episodes and bonus content we have going on. We have On a Break with Gonzaco, a super fierce bass drum duo that put a really fun video called More Bass in the Club together. A really special episode is coming out called On a Water Break in Crisis, where Alicia and a panel of hosts talk about the recent tragic events that have happened in our activity, including the shooting in Texas and the fires in California, and how we as an activity can and should respond. They even get to talk to staff members from the Palisades High School, whose school was devastated by the California wildfires. On a Water Break Around the World with Grantis Pernada is interviewing marching arts people from around the globe. Check out his recent episode with Koshin Saprasagwong, the president of the Marching Band Association of Thailand, and everything else he is doing globally. Steven just did an episode with Julie Dahlia where she talks about everything she's been through, a ton of her judging philosophies. Steven even got to nerd out with her and Annie Turner over bass drumming. And Trish just did a great episode interview with some WGI performers. Tell us about it, Trish.
Oh, it was so much fun. We had Jacob from AF, we had somebody from Etude, and we had somebody from Cincinnati, which I loved all three of those shows. So it was an absolute pleasure to talk to them. They really went into, how they felt about the season. And it was really interesting. You got to check it out because they flash back to what they said earlier and how much it came true. So that you got to check it out. It's a really good episode.
Nice. Oh, look who it is. It's my roomie from way back when. Whitney, how are you?
Hi, Whitney.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
We're good. How things going? You had rehearsal tonight because your season is not done yet.
You're right. You're right.
I don't understand that going on after WGI, but I know a lot of circuits do it.
We're doing TECA this year. I've never done TECA before. We usually do TCGC, and they just happened to do theirs after WGI. So I had my last regular Cadet Guard rehearsal tonight.
Oh, how'd it go?
They're adorable.
And that's what Cadet Guard should be. It should be adorable, right?
Hi, Dylan.
Anyway, we have left him on the sidelines long enough, but joining us for this live is someone that just received a gold medal and is known by some as the hands of WGI. Please welcome from the pride of Cincinnati, Dylan Watson.
Hey guys.
Dylan, how are you? How does it feel right now?
It honestly feels a bit surreal. Like we went into finals with just the mindset of we want to do the best run for each other and for us. We don't really focus on the scores. We just focus on what better version can we do for ourselves. And I think we were all on that same mindset, that collective unison mindset of this is our show. This is what we do for us. Let's do this for us. And I think when we left that floor, we knew that we did that for us.
I love it.
And then the reflection of winning first place was just the cherry on top.
So we're going to dive into all of these feelings and emotions here in a second. But Dylan, here on A Water Break, we do a thing called a 32 count life story. So what happens is you're going to get 8 counts off the Met. You know, you can duck yourself in if you want to. And then you have 32 counts to tell us everything about your life from birth up until getting that gold medal put around your neck on Saturday night to being here on this recording tonight. You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. 8 off the Met.
Was born and raised in Tennessee and then moved to Clarksville, Tennessee to March Eclipse, then watched Paramount, then moved to Ohio to then March Pride of Cincinnati for 2018, 2019, up until 22, moved to Indianapolis, March 23, 25, and March Cavaliers within the years of 2015 to 2018, and then ended up with a gold medal around my neck last weekend.
Okay. He said he did not even need all of his 32 counts. Okay, so listen, the degrees of separation between you and I are a little bit insane. So, and Whitney too. I march Cavaliers, I march Pride of Cincinnati, and I am one of the acting coaches for Eclipse. So lots of connections there. Whitney marched Pride of Cincinnati. And aren't you close to Tennessee, like in your North Carolina home, close to Tennessee?
Yeah, where I grew up in North Carolina is only like an hour from Tennessee.
Connection.
Mountain children. And I taught Eclipse last year. So
hey, that's right. You did teach Eclipse. We both
Dylan,
at one time.
Dylan, when did we march Eclipse? Awesome. I did not know that.
That's awesome. So Dylan, you were saying the feeling of going on that floor and it was all about you and the members just doing the thing that you were doing and being connected with each other. Keep going into that. Give us a little bit more insight on, kind of how the season started and where it was going and what does it feel like to put in all of that work and time and effort and then come out on top?
Well, it's like what we look forward to like having to WGI every single year. I think because a lot of us in that cast March 23 during the All Your Love season, and the unfortunate event of them not coming out in 24. A few of us marched in some other places in which we totally respect and support those organizations as we continue to improve our skill set. And then we had the mindset, I know for me personally, I was in the mindset of, I know they're coming back in 2025. I want to make that season feel even more special because one of the instructors at Pride did tell us in the mid-season of 2025, just like COVID, like any opportunity can just be taken away from you so fast. So I was in the mindset of pretend this is like the last time you're going to do this. So any rep I got, any show we were given, it was like an opportunity. And we made it all the way to Dayton. It felt like this is just celebratory. It didn't feel like a competition. It felt like you made it through the very end of that marathon where you're like running past that finish line, like that moment where marathon runners run and they have their hands in the air because they knew that they made it. It's kind of the same exact feeling. Like this is just celebratory. The energy is so electric from the crowd for any performer that's walking on an independent world finals. Like there's not a single person out there in that audience that's against you. They're all just like, they just want to celebrate with you. I think that was the collective energy of everybody, especially like from beginning to end. It was more just like, what product can we create that's going to be special for this particular cast, this particular staff, and this particular year at WGI? And this is definitely one that is going to be ingrained in my memory from the moment I walked on, from the moment I set the 50 to the moment I walked off. Every moment, just like I remember connecting with one person in each of those sections of the show.
That's magic, man. So I have to tell you personally, okay, this is for the listeners too. I do not like to watch Winter Guard videos online or wherever during the season because I can't connect with the performers through a video. So I saw the flag feature for Pride. That was one of the few things that I did see before we went in. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool flag feature. When I finally got to see it live on Friday night, it literally took my breath away. Just seeing how all of you on that floor, this little tiny circle floor with all those people, spend time in close proximity. I mean, there was a magic, there was an energy, there was something undeniable about it. And I was so glad that my first time to see it was you guys living your best life out there on that floor. I mean, you guys have to feel that love coming from the audience as you're performing. Or are you too busy worrying about where count 8 is?
It's kind of a mixture of both. We talk about a script in our brain because throughout the performance career, Whitney, this might be something that you can relate to too, especially in your years of marching, where you have your designated counts on your checkpoints, but you also have the script in your brain, like telling you, make sure you do this, like hit that angle, do that on this count right here, or a little to the left, because you might hook something to the right. Like that's one thing that we always talked about was work on your script. What is your script in this moment? Are you performing here? Make sure you're telling yourself that you perform here. Like I know for the flag feature, for example, I was not part of the flag feature. I was part of the 3-turn group. So doing the obnoxious version of it was
insanity.
It was
Well,
insanity.
damn.
Well, the obnoxious part where we ran it 5 times, I was like, I gotta do 5 3-turns. Okay, let's do it. But that was that's what we worked on a lot, was that script and that approach. And I think that was one of the most successful approaches with all of us, because it was able to balance between technical and emotional without one teeter-tottering more than the other. Like we had that insurance policy, which I'm sure we've all heard that phrase before. Make sure your insurance policy is good. How's that coming along? You can always be able to find that balance. That's why I tell my kids too. I'm like, what's going on up here? I know you can do this, but it's all this.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's more mental than anything.
I think there's something interesting too about crazy coming into world class finals and walking out of the tunnel. And if you're with Pride and some of the other groups, the crowd just loses it. They see the curtain open and they're just losing it. And that's when your heart drops through all the way to your toes and you're like, oh God. But even more now, you guys have 360 of people watching you, It wasn't quite that aggressive when I marched, but still you walk in and there are just people everywhere and you can just the electricity that you feel on the floor, there's no other way to describe it besides literally it just feels electric in there and you just are getting all of that and you just feel like your skin is buzzing. And it's just I have chills thinking of it right now because it is just it's so wild and nothing can prepare you for that except for world-class finals. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. DCI finals doesn't prepare you for that. Literally nothing.
All right. So we are going to take a moment and jump over to a little bit of commercial. So we will be right back with you here on a water break.
Celebrating its 25th anniversary, Guard Closet was founded as a consignment shop in 2000. Since then, it has grown to become your one-stop shop for the marching arts.
Do you need consignment uniforms and flags for your color guard, marching band, or drumline? We have thousands of sets of consignments in stock and ready to ship.
Do you need show design and custom choreography? Our designers have years of experience in the marching arts.
Do you need to sell your items and clear out your storage areas? We take in more than 600 sets of consignments each year. and return hundreds of thousands of dollars to our consigners for their sales.
Do you need to have your students order shoes, gloves, and other equipment? We can set up a microsite for easy student ordering of a wide variety of items.
Do you need custom costumes or flags? We can help get you great designs from our team through top vendors like Showday Designs.
Have you listened to our podcast, On a Water Break? Weekly episodes and bonus content keep you entertained and informed with what's going on in the marching arts.
For over 25 years, Guard Closet has been here to help. Check us out at guardcloset.com or follow us on social media.
Hey friends, we are back to On a Water Break, and we have a new friend who is joining us on the sidelines. Everybody, please let's welcome from Emerson High School in Frisco, Texas, the fantastic director, Bryan Ayala.
Hi, everyone.
Bryan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good. We're good. We're glad to have you here on a water break tonight. So I know you're a listener because you were actually watching online, and that's why we pulled you on. But you know that we do a 32 count life story with all of our guests. You get 8 counts off of the Met, and then you give us 32 counts of your life from birth up until today when you stepped onto this podcast. You ready to do this?
Right. Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, here we go. 8 off the Met. Duck yourself in.
All right, I'm Bryan Ayala. Oh, early again. I'm Bryan Ayala, constantly early, as you guys can tell. I was born in San Francisco, California. I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan when I was 8. Moved down to Florida a few years ago to teach Sebastian River High School, and I currently live in Texas. My marching experience includes interplay winter guard back when I was in high school, Onyx winter guard, blue coats, and crown. And I've helped out with a multitude of different programs when it comes to choreography, technician, or just clinician work. And yeah, I'm in Texas, just getting all the support and all the love I need from community.
Love it. Awesome. Okay, Bryan, so first of all, I'm going to ask some questions. How long have you been at Emerson High School?
2 years.
Okay, so it has come to my knowledge that you guys started off in Scholastic A at the beginning of the season, and you were promoted?
That is correct.
And you were promoted by the circuit and not WGI?
That is also correct. So then, WGI went through the appeal process and stay in A.
But you are 5th place in Scholastic Open Class. Sir. I have to tell you, I'm going to ask you to talk about and kind of tell us through the show. But when I sat and watched it, the thing I got to know is, did y'all have to rehearse in those costumes to figure out all those costume changes as it went along? How many costume changes were there?
There was an arm sleeve at the very beginning. If you count the hood reveal after 2 counts was the second one. The top coming off, the pants coming off, and finally the base layer being revealed under the flag toss. So a total of 5 different costume changes. And to answer the question, every single rehearsal was always a uniform rehearsal, which is awful considering that they were white uniforms. So we had to clean them and wash them almost weekly.
Okay, so shout out to the moms at Emerson High School for keeping those costumes clean because they look stunning. I had no idea. I'm sitting here watching. I saw the first costume change, the sleeve, as you said, and I was like, oh, that's cute, like a little sleeve. But, I'm a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, okay? And so, if you're going to pull your wig off and you're going to have another wig underneath it, it better be something stunning. Not only did I get one wig reveal, I got a second wig reveal that was like, oh. The third wig reveal was like, oh my God. And then that last one with the arms and how it was, I was flabbergasted just by the costumes alone. And that's not even talking about how good the kids were, how good their hands were. Like, tell us, what was your inspiration for the show? How did you come up with all of this?
So crazy story. So it was actually all Tim Newbern. So famous designer down in Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. He sent me the music. And at first I was really hesitant, not because I didn't trust it, but because there was no tempo. And I was just like, Tim, I'm not sure. He's just like, you marched Onyx, you'll be fine. I was just like, I did, but we marched the tempo years, not the non-tempo years. So I had to do a lot of extra work on my end. But the whole inspiration, I mean, like you nailed it. RuPaul's Drag Race was part of the inspiration for the uniform. And the whole black to white theme of the show and the whole science of the show was just part of just the piece itself and just branching off of that. And then the eerie, ethereal sound from Eric Whitacre just brought it to life. So it was all a combination of all these three different things that just really brought the show to life. And on top of it, the students just handled it so maturely. We had a lot of students from band and orchestra in the color guard, so at least made the tempo a little bit easier. But I just remember early season just defining sections. I was like, all right, on the third, you're going to move here, but not on the there's a higher pitch. It's very subtle, but you want to make sure you're moving at that point. So it's just a lot of work on our end. And it definitely helped me grow as a director this season because, boy, oh boy, tempo-less show is so much harder than what I thought it was.
Yes, as someone who just did a tempo-less show as well, I know that pain, and choreographing to oohs and doos, honey, is a lot. But you hit the nail on the head when you said that you had band and orchestra members in there. That explains a lot of the musicality in your performers, because that's not something that most color guard people possess on that level, to be able to pull off that level of artistry with the musicality and something that doesn't have a tempo. It was just stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning. All right. Guys, we got to get to our actual conversation. Producer Jeremy, cue the news music. Okay, so we all know we just came off of this big, massive WGI Championship weekend. I want everybody's roundtable opinion right now. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think I said it on one of the recaps at WGI the other night, but our activity is alive. It is well. It is breathing. It is thriving, pushing new boundaries, and it makes me excited for what is going to come next. I did not get to watch a ton of color guard this year because I didn't make it in as early as I normally do. And I was doing my duty with both Tampa Independent Open and Tampa Independent World. So I missed seeing a lot of the groups all the way through like I normally do. But everything I saw, I was inspired by the performers. I was inspired by the design. And I have to say, being back in that arena with all of these people that are family, even if you don't know their names, even if you've never talked to them before, being surrounded by that much love for the same thing is just electric. What do you guys think?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really, really, really great year. I could have made a case for, I was, not only because Dylan is here, but I was really, really rooting for Pride. I loved that show all year. But I think I would have been like, oh, okay, Paramount won, or oh, okay, because everybody was just so good. Everybody was just so, so good. It was a really exciting WGI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. Sorry, go ahead, Ricardo.
My mother-in-law comes with us to WGI every year. It's turned into like a family event for us because my husband is from Dayton. And we always leave before retreat happens just so we can beat the crowd out and all that stuff. And we were sitting in the car and she looks at me and she goes, Ricky, who do you think won? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, everybody won in my eyes tonight. Everybody won. And she was like, yeah, I feel the same way. She was like, it could go either way. She was like, every single group was good. That's what a world-class finals is supposed to be like.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really crazy that like the top 5 of Independent World was just this every day. Like, Dylan, didn't you guys come in 4th or 5th?
We got 3rd after semis, but after prelims, we tied with Paramount. So it kind of was like, oh, we could land anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of all over the place. And everybody kind of had their favorite. Like, I know a lot of people that were really rooting for Etude to win or whatever. And it was just like, who knows? And I thought it was either, honestly, dear Pride fam, I thought Paramount was going to win. I really did. Like after the finals, I was like, I think Paramount may have just won. I don't know, but wasn't it pretty close? It was only a 10th or something.
Yeah, it was like a
1.15.
Yeah.
So it just was. It's like, I don't know. I mean, clearly the Woodlands won, but they're my favorite color guard that's ever existed. So They're insane.
Insane.
Oh, we're gonna talk
We're
about
all
Did you
like,
get to see them live?
we did not because we were getting ready at the time, but
That's
like I had a Flow subscription every year because while I'm like getting ready, I was like, I want to watch and like be supportive because like those kids deserve to have fans. Like anybody in independent world is like awning over these like Scholastic Worlds. They're 12 years old and they're doing all this stuff. I can't do that at 28, but okay. So we're like in the hotel room. It's like me, my roommates, somebody's getting airbrushed for makeup, and then like 3 other people are behind me, just like this, watching like the top 5 of like Scholastic World. And I was just like, okay, that's gonna be us in like 2 hours. They're like, yeah, but they're 12 and they're doing some really hard stuff.
Ridiculous. And it wasn't even just in world class. I mean, it was all of the classes.
A class.
A class is not A class.
No, there was one color guard in Scholastic A that I saw that I was like, yes, they're A class. The Elvis show. That was the only one that I was like, this is A class. The rest of them, I'm like, get them out of here. Get them up here. That was crazy.
I have personally started to really, really, really enjoy open class. Like it's kind of my favorite thing because it's such a weird class because it doesn't know what it's supposed to be.
It doesn't know what it's supposed to be. It really doesn't.
But that's the beauty of it. It doesn't know what it's supposed to be, it can be anything. And it is, you get this gambit of performances. And I mean, like back to Emerson. I had no idea what to expect because I don't watch videos of people before I see them live. And I was just floored, and the magic and the artistry in this. I mean, back in my day, back in the 1800s, the A class is what world class was doing. World class would be galactic class at that point, I mean, it's insane. So I want to do this. I want to go around the room very quickly. We're not going to dwell too much. I want to go class by class. I want to know somebody that you thought was memorable in each one of those classes. If you got to see them. I know, Dylan, you were busy doing your own thing, so you probably didn't get to see him. Bryan, you may not have seen him. And Whitney, you were busy competing, and your kids did pretty good too. So
I know. Shout out to semis. Great job.
Thank you.
My girl's doing it. But I'm going to start in A class. I did not get to see much of Independent A, and that was because I was busy running around and doing stuff. But I will say that when it comes to the Scholastic A class, I did get to see a lot. Freedom High School, one of the hometown favorites here from Orlando, with Ice Ice Baby. Like, who would have thought that would have been great? But Randy Nelson and Carlos did, and it was fantastic. But big mad shout outs to my friends over at Pope High School, because that was just beautiful.
So good. So good.
And not put together like an A class show. Like that singing and everything was very open class. I was like, they're out of here now. So welcome back for like the 3rd time, Pope High School.
Right.
Bring it back. What about open class? I did through and watch pretty much all of open class. The Scholastic open class, definitely one of my favorites was Emerson for sure. Little Elm. Wow.
Little Elm.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So good.
World class all day long.
Yes, no, they are.
And I have a personal favorite, mostly because I get to spend a little bit of time in the gym with these kids. But Tampa Independent Open in the Cave was great. But I mean, JMU nuance with that glass of whiskey and homegirl flopping down in that glass of whiskey. I can't. I lost it. I was screaming. That is why my voice sounds like this right now, is because I lost everything on that.
It was so funny too, because we saw them in prelims, and remember all that controversy a few weeks back when somebody was commenting like, that's terrible. They put that girl in the water and then they drag her outside in the freezing cold, and and that staff made a point of coming in, walking right across the front with arms full of towels.
You had a robe on at retreat. She was literally in a robe at retreat.
That's great.
Was she really?
That's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't see the retreat thing, but I did see on the internet. Did you guys see that the prop broke the night before?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had to glue it back together or do whatever it is. See, and this is another reason why I say prop parents are the best parents. Okay? A prop daddy will fix your life. Okay? With a drill and some duct tape, they will get your life together. All right. What about anybody else have any favorites other than the groups I said? I don't want this to be about me.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go Wiley High School in A class.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So much fun. So electric.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go Third Legend. Absolutely beautiful. One of my favorites all year.
I just actually watched that because someone sent me. Okay, yeah, back to my conversation from earlier. I do watch videos after WGI when I no longer have a choice and I know I'm not going to be able to see them live again. I do watch videos, and I got sent that video, and that was pretty. It was a pretty show.
Yeah.
I was going to say shout out to Carol for making class finals for the first time in their history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Been in that program for 4 years, and I'm just so thankful that they finally had the opportunity to do that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Congratulations. What about open class? Anybody have open class favorites?
Oh, I thought we were doing both, but we were doing Little Ellen.
Yeah.
That's why I threw Third Legend in there. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's good. We're just chatting amongst friends.
That's
I
right.
didn't get to see it live, but they were rehearsing right next to us, Palm Desert Charter Middle School.
Ridiculous.
I know that they're middle schoolers, but like seeing them actually rehearse, it was just insane.
We rehearsed next to them too on a Thursday. We were right over there. It was like, those are the middle schoolers, right? Because they looked a little bit smaller, but they were doing ridiculous things. So it was like, yeah, that's them.
Okay.
Yeah, they smiled. I saw the braces. I was like, they don't know what algebra is.
Oh my god.
But they do know what exchanges are.
And I know that we have talked to that staff and like their approach and how they do things, but it just, I mean, as someone who teaches high school, who can't get my kids to do that in high school, I'm like, what are they feeding them kids?
Rifles. They literally eat rifles.
On a platter.
Make the rifle be a rifle. There you go.
Oh my god.
Come back next week.
Do what,
week.
Dylan?
I was like, come back next week and know how to throw a quad.
Mm-hmm.
And they do.
Yep.
Oh.
Nuts. The whole color guard threw a quad, minus like 2 kids doing something up here in the corner. They all
Oh my
threw a quad.
gosh.
All of them.
Yeah.
Middle school.
I'm jealous. So this is like a shameless thing that I do to my kids. Sometimes I will put on videos of them and I will go, just so you know, those are 7th and 8th graders.
I know.
And my kids are like, what? I'm like, yeah, so you can do anything you want to do. I also do that with the Scholastic World kids too, because I go, these kids are the same age as you and they can do this. So,
yep.
So Ricardo, we have a question here from Sammy McClinton. He wants to know, she wants to know, I'm not sure, what is the song of the season?
Is that a question?
It's
clearly hope.
It's hope.
I mean, are we talking the best song or the most overused song or both?
Could be both.
Both.
That could be both. It's a great. I just think it's so interesting that we finally found rap music that is appropriate for the Winter Guard stage, but it was just the one song.
Right.
But even with that, and all the different times that we saw it, every single time I saw it, it was a completely different take. It was a completely different approach of it, and I was.
And
just
you know
like,
what's so funny is that
cool.
lyric in the song, "Give the people something different." Every single one of them gave the people something different.
I did
think it was interesting though. There were a few that I saw this weekend who did exchanges over the props it was the same part, the 30 seconds or 30 years part, the really heavy rap part where Warren did the double time feature. There were a couple guards that did exchanges with flags over props at that same part. And I was like, what? Weird. Just crazy. It was like really the only similarity.
I was like, Phoenix Independent doing that.
Oh, they were so good. I really liked them.
Oh yeah,
I liked them. Oh, my independent open class shout out is Levoot. What does that even mean? What does Levoot mean? I took French. I don't remember.
I haven't been practicing my French in a while.
No, I only practice ballet French now. So
right.
I really loved them. They were beautiful.
Oh, all right. Let us move into Scholastic World first. Hands 4 days, Warren Central High School.
Thank you. We were talking earlier about, and we can get back to this, but what's the guard that really grew on you during the season? It was them. It was them. I don't know if it was the hope thing for me in the beginning, or I don't know what it was, but they actually came to our power regional in Pennsylvania, and seeing them in person is totally different.
Oh yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
And I saw them in Dayton too.
Their rock star girl, she's incredible.
I don't look at my rifle when I'm tossing it. I just put my hands up there because I know it's coming back to it.
Right.
Yeah, I watched her the whole time. I have no idea what else was happening on the floor, but I was just watching her the whole time. She was amazing.
And those kids are so sweet too. We got the chance to sit by them at Tri-State because we went on an exhibition. They were sitting behind us before we went to go warm up, and I turned around and was like, "Wait, are you guys Warren Central?" And they were just like, "Hey, you guys are Pride," and they decided to clip me right then, and I was like,
"Oh, you got clipped."
Oh, I got clipped all weekend long. I had my jacket, and someone goes, "Oh, he's in Pride." They gave me 2 clips, and I was like, "Okay, thank you." But they're so sweet as well as super talented. So as much as they fawn over independent world, we fawn over high school.
Right.
It's that mutual fangirling type of thing.
Yeah, they were great. They really turned up the energy in the arena. Everybody was doing well, but then Warren came out and it just erupted in there.
It changed the dynamic. It changed the dynamic. And then when the Woodlands, listen, and please, everyone listening, do not think that because we're not talking about your color guard specifically that you weren't great. Everybody was fantastic. We need to establish that as a baseline for this conversation. We are just talking amongst each other, talking about things that really, really, really stuck out. The Woodlands, my God, today. My God, today. When I was in the airport getting ready to get on the plane, I was on Instagram, and of course, everything was all these little clips and stuff. And my husband, who is not a color guard person, looks over my shoulder. He goes, "Oh my God, is that the Woodlands?" When I saw the clip, the close-up clip. And he was like, "Is that the Woodlands?" And I was like, "How do you?" He was like, "Oh my God, they were one of my favorites." Non-color guard person said that. Remembered the exact feature and knew everything about it. So shout out to the Woodlands. Well deserved for your gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I would think
I'm so lucky that I get to see them so often. It is just, it's awesome to be able to expose that level of color guard to my kids on we see them twice a month usually, they're usually at all the regionals, and they have rehearsed in my gym. Their energy is in my gym. They had lunch with my kids at the Austin regional, and I'm soak all of that up. They are literal gods of color guard. They are so important to the activity. Enjoy getting to have face-to-face time with them. I adore them. I'm their biggest fan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can we just talk about the growth of that program too? This is what they're
literally since COVID.
That's
when it really blew up. They gained kids during COVID, and the middle school program has just sent them in a direction that is just incredible.
Anybody else have any Scholastic World groups that they want to chat about?
I have a few actually.
Eldorado.
Oh, Eldorado.
All of them.
So good. American Fork, fun show.
Yeah, that was
standing in the rain for that.
I was a big fan of Bellbrook this season.
Oh, they were beautiful.
They looked so sophisticated and just so poised.
Those sabers, man, those sabers are good.
Every second I got a chance to watch it, I was in the front row, just amazed by what they did.
I'm so glad they made it. We got to see them at the Bellbrook preview, and we were front row, and I'm just so proud of Sheldon, so happy for him. They were great.
I was Miamisburg also looking
so beautiful
as well.
Stunning.
We have a couple members who taught Miamisburg at the time while marching, which shout out to them to be able to do both.
Right.
That is insane. One of the members that I marched, his name is Joseph. He was also co-directing them. And I was like, how are you doing both? That's crazy. You're directing a Scholastic World group and you're an independent world.
Seth didn't march though, right? Just Joseph?
It was Joseph.
Okay. That would have been crazy.
March with both of them at Inspire and Adios and All Your Love, and now Joseph for To the Fullest. But yeah, they're always stunning. They're always so beautiful. I love watching them. We were always watching them whenever we got the opportunity. He was like, "Can you watch Miamisburg at this one time?" We're like, "Yeah, let's do it for sure." So we're supportive of each other's groups.
Yeah, giving another shout out to another team, Florida, Flanagan High School. Seeing
Yes.
them.
Oh my God, the bounce back.
ranks.
The bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And they look so poised.
Yeah, they were gorgeous. I got to see them early season at the Tampa Regional, and just the costume was the thing that stood out to me the most at first, because
So
their costumes
flowy,
were hanging on a fence, and I was like, "This is beautiful." And then you put the whole aesthetic together with how those flag pieces were cut out and like the texture and all of it. And it was great. It was great. It took me back, a couple years ago when it was always the fight between Flanagan, Avon, and James Logan. So it's good to see them moving up.
Arcadia was super beautiful to watch.
Those costumes were everything.
They're so flexible. Oh my God. Like every one of them is a freaking contortionist.
I'm still obsessed with their program last year.
And me too.
That was cool.
Intricacy with all those boards. I was like, just the thought process behind that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the tentacles this year, I was like, that's so cool. That's like
those looked heavy. Like when they hit the ground, I was like, there's sand or something in those, because they sounded really heavy.
And then, of course, like Carmel with those props, like having the one girl, the ripple saber all the way down to her. Like you could hear that saber crack through the video. I was like, she's insane. But they're feeding.
I thought that she broke that saber in half.
I didn't see through the video. I was putting on makeup.
I know.
Putting on my makeup, and I went, did I just hear a saber break?
Awful. That would have been awful if that happened.
I really liked El Dorado at like 4th place. That's crazy. They've only been in world class for a couple of years now, right?
I know.
They got promoted not too long ago, but they were just beautiful to watch. They were just easy to watch. I really liked them.
All right,
Center Grove too. Center Grove, crazy. Northview,
Northview.
Northview.
Everybody, all of them.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about everybody, let's talk about Independent World.
So we have a comment here from Gardy from our live YouTube. Says Vox Artium Rest in Peace was amazing.
Yep.
Oh my God, so good.
They always just bring the energy.
They know how to tell the story.
You know you're gonna get an outstandingly fun show from them.
And you know what's so funny is when we went after we performed in Kentucky, we ran back to watch the last round of Independent World. Vox and Amp were on back to back, and we were like, "Oh, it's the Scream section of the show," because you got those two back to back. The crowd ain't sitting down.
So I will say that my saddest thing of this season is that I did not get to see Vox, because we were in rotation when Vox was going on, and we came on right after them. So all I got to see was Homegirl still performing her way all the way out the ramp. As we were
the same
coming
girl
onto the
that
floor.
played Bloody Mary last year, right?
Yeah,
we interviewed her last year too.
We did.
Got it.
After Dayton, we did. Yeah.
I just have to say, like, my favorite part about Vox is I got to watch them from the back, and all those like way up high seats. They always give the back audience a show.
They do.
And I thought it was just last year, but they did it again this year, and I just appreciate that so much from them.
You have to now. There's people everywhere. When are we going to start designing shows that are meant for 360?
For an arena?
Or what?
Designing shows for an arena. An arena stage is literally all the sides.
And it didn't dawn on me until we were in Dayton, until I was in Dayton with my kids and it was their first Dayton. Because like I said, we went back and we watched, the last block of prelims after we left Kentucky, and all the, at local shows. I mean, we have Amp and Fusion in our local circuit in New Jersey, but they always have to see them from the back. And they got to see them from the front. And I turned to them and I said, it's a lot different in the front, isn't it? They were like, oh, yeah. So you're right. You might be onto something with the 360 for sure.
Who else
we have another shout out from YouTube. Dylan Overreader wants to know, it's a question for Dylan. As a member of Pride, how was it to perform in such a small area?
It certainly had its challenges at first. When they were staging it, I was like thinking to myself, I'm very close to this person and I'm holding a piece of equipment. They're holding a flag and I'm like less than a foot away from them. It's like, so this is going to be a very interesting process. It definitely had its trial and errors, but everything that we did, I thought the design staff, the choreographers, they were very smart about like what to do and to also like stay true to our aesthetic and whatnot. And I think that was key to making the show successful, because the point of it kind of reminded me of my first year in 2018, where we didn't
Beautiful show. One of my favorites.
We didn't have a floor at the time, but we started in a pod and we moved with the pod. So it kind of reminded me of that, how we were put in such a vulnerable position where it was about you. It wasn't, you weren't playing a character, or you weren't, it wasn't about the twirls. It was about like, this is me. This is my genuine self performing to you.
Right.
So it's one of those like really unique experiences, like kind of what Ricardo was talking about earlier, saying that it was a different feel versus a video versus in person. That type of caliber of show, I think, is so unique because of that connection from performer to viewer that you can get only in that in-person experience. You can't get that through a video.
I'm sorry. We apologize. It's still an Oxen reader. Sorry. But I also have a question for Dylan Watson. We didn't get to ask, we had Andrew on the earlier podcast. We didn't get to ask him. For those who don't know, what's the significance of the different costume at the end?
From my understanding, was just the idea of, so the whole show was basically a statement about saying that, how they presented it was saying that life can give you an amount of circumstances. What you choose to do with that is up to you, saying that you live to your fullest capacity. They stuck on the word capacity, saying okay, what can you, that is going to be to the fullest of your capacity? Like, what choices are you going to make in your life that can be to the fullest of that space? So the idea was like, we're in a condensed area. How can we make this be this type of show within a small area? How can we make it be just as grand as if we're on an 80 by 100 floor? And that was something I thought was super interesting, that they're taking the space of what would be like a regular sized tarp, condensing it down. And they're like, we're still going to stage something that is just as unique and just as quality worthy of as if it were a couple of years ago as well.
Awesome.
Who are some of your other favorites, guys, from Independent World? I'm going to go ahead and say Paramount.
For sure.
Love
Delicious,
Paramount.
beautiful, stunning. Fantasia. Whitney.
Shout out to our local Jersey teams up here, Amp and Fusion. Did anybody get a chance to chat with Latrice?
Yes, I did. Yes. I met Latrice.
Awesome. So cool.
I've known Tim since before the Latrice days, so it was fun to see Tim back in Colorguard world as opposed to his ultra stardom now as Latrice. So it was
shout
kind
out
of
to
fun.
Show Day for those gorgeous costumes. And we were talking on the other recording earlier about how many people in the tent actually wore that fur jacket. How many people actually had that on? Still catwalk. It was too fun.
I was like, shout out to Elevate for making Independent World Finals.
That part.
I didn't get to see well.
Ricardo, you had the Amp jacket on too?
Oh yeah, I did a whole thing across the floor. Now it only fit like on one arm, but I did.
That's all right.
Oh,
so many good shows on Independent World. So many.
Yes, Juxta.
When that moment, when those people jumped into that fabric and were suspended there, that was probably one of the coolest, innovative moments in World Class Finals for me.
For sure.
I was like, shout out to that designer, because I worked with her at Carol. I was like, that is stunning that you did that. That's
right. Becca. I love Becca.
I love me some Becca.
I love Becca.
So, in other news, things that happened at WGI, we had a fantastic wedding proposal by one of our Tampa Independent members. Maddie Nelson got engaged and it was caught on social media. And I will be chatting with Maddie soon about how her proposal went.
Oh,
So
yay.
that's going to be fun. But Trish, I believe that you have a little announcement for us about the
I
DCI
do.
Hall
So
of Fame.
DCI announced their Hall of Fame class of 2025. It includes Jack Bevins, who's the former director of the Velvet Knights. Dating back to my days in WGI, the Velvet Knights were always like kind of the amp or the Vox Artium of that time. They always did these crowd pleasing shows, and even in DCI, they would do these like, they would do a beach show, and then they would have like, a shark fin run across the field and play da 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 da. So definitely some memorable moments for them. So congratulations to Jack, the husband of our good friend Susie Harloff, who's been on the podcast many times. Matt Harloff, the longtime brass caption head of Carolina Crown, so many Jim Ott awards. So congratulations to Matt Harloff. Maybe we can get him and Susie on at some point to talk about it. Alan Christensen, DCI adjudicator. Congratulations to him as well. And finally, somebody that many of us in here know and have had the pleasure of working with, Jim Moore. So congratulations to Jim Moore.
His birthday today, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Happy birthday, Jim.
Michael Gates' post was funny. It was like, wish him happy birthday and DCI Hall of Fame induction.
Happy birthday, right? Jim, shouting back to our old Alter Ego days when Alter Ego was an A guard, you coming in and writing amazing choreo. So shout out, good times back then, and congratulations.
Right? Who here has been taught by Jim Moore?
Me.
Not taught by, working with, briefly.
Oh, you haven't? He taught me Pride and Crown, so
Like,
a little bit of both.
that is one thing I wish I could have experienced, is learning from Jim Moore. And I
love his
maybe one day
choreography.
I will.
Loved it.
I feel so beautiful doing his choreography.
I used to sit
Whitney,
there
didn't
back
he
in the
write the
day.
part of the choreography where you lifted me?
Probably lifted you. I was one of the boys. I lifted everybody. Amanda across the floor, whatever.
So that crop.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, who's that? That's the Whitney Houston.
Come on, Whitney Houston.
I'm tired.
And he used to come into Alter Ego back in the day when April Gilligan was staging, and we kind of had this little cadets connection. He would come in and write choreo. No computer. I wasn't sitting there with my iPad back then, but I would sit there with a notebook and write down every checkpoint and every count, because I knew those kids were going to be like, that's not what Jim said. That's not what Jim said. So I was like, here's what Jim said. I had every little stick figure pictures.
Trish, what year was that?
Do I have to say?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
We did our Chicken Man show in 1996, and then our first year in finals in 1997.
Nice.
In Phoenix, in Independent A.
See, now we just take videos of the choreography, and that's
yeah, that wasn't happening then.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
All good though.
Back in the 1900s, we didn't have video cameras on our telephones.
Because the kids always relate better to the stars, right? My kids do it too. They always relate better to the stars, right? So I used to be like, these kids are going to, when I go to clean this flag feature, these kids are going to say, that's not what Jim, I used to be like, no, here's what Jim said. And I would even write down quotes like that he said. I would, he'd be like, you have to pop your hip like something. I don't even remember. And no, Jim said you have to pop your hip I wasn't going to hear it. I wasn't having it.
Trish is the original keeper of receipts.
Uh-huh. You do not even want to see the screenshot section on my phone.
Oh my God.
Well,
Rosie.
Congratulations to all of the DCI Hall of Fame inductees. It is a great class of people that have definitely changed the game. So it's time for your Peak Group Travel Tip of the Week, brought to you by our sponsors at Peak Group Travel, helping you navigate your next adventure, whether it's across the country or just to your next competition.
Hi all, it's Beth from Peak Group Travel with your travel tip of the week. Be sure to plan your trip well enough in advance of your travel dates, 6 to 12 months ahead at least. Hotels, flights, buses, and attractions can fill up fast. And you want to make sure you can maximize the time you need to fundraise for your trip as well. If you want more tips, be sure to follow Peak Group Travel on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're ready to chat about your next trip, send us an email at info@peakgrouptravel.com. This is Beth with Peak Group Travel and your travel tip of the week. Ready to elevate your travel game? Welcome to Peak Group Travel, the ultimate adventure creators. Whether you're planning an unforgettable class trip, a once-in-a-lifetime parade experience for your marching band, or a choir tour full of memorable performance venues, Peak Group Travel handles it all, so you can focus on making memories. From breathtaking international destinations to amazing adventures right here at home, Peak Group Travel customizes every journey to your vision. We're not just planners, we're your partners for the trip you want for your students. Our online registration portal makes managing your pre-trip experience smooth and convenient. We even collect your payments if you'd like. Picture it, effortless planning, unmatched experiences, and smiles that last long after the journey ends. That's the Peak Group Travel difference. And if you choose to partner with Peak on your next tour, and you mention that you heard about us on the On a Water Break podcast, you'll earn a $100 trip credit. Discover why groups everywhere trust Peak Group Travel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and be sure to visit peakgrouptravel.com today. You pick the date, and we'll make it great.
Okay, everyone, we are back, and it is time for a 60-second tech block. This is the segment where one of our hosts or guest clinician is put on the spot to deliver a non-stop 60-second tech session on a topic that needs some serious attention after the last run. 60-second tech block.
60-second tech block! I was waiting for it. I was like, wait, there's no... I love that sound.
So our special tech this week has come prepared with 3 topics that they think they can talk about for a full 60 seconds straight. No hesitation, no pauses, just pure technical gold. And this week, let's see, I think we're going to throw it over to Dylan. Hey, friend.
Hey, girl.
So, Dylan, you said your best topics were 1, how to nail multiple 3 turns in one show. 2, how to precisely center a floor. Or 3, what is the best method for achieving a good makeup highlight? Okay, everybody, what do we think Dylan should do?
I want to hear about the 3 turn.
3 turns, something I'll never do. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with 3 turns because I'm not doing 1 turn right now. So times 3, absolutely not. Dylan, we are going to pull up a clock right now, a stopwatch. Trish, my friend, you got your phone out. Did you do that? Love it. Okay. So, Dylan, you get 60 seconds on the clock. No break at all. You are going to tell us how to nail multiple 3 turns in one show. And 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8, go 1.
So you want to start thinking about the way you prepare your toss. You want to start compartmentalizing by throwing yourself a good toss, then doing your body, and then nailing the catch like any other type you do. Like you toss, you turn, you catch. To add a 3 turn, you want to think about a couple things when you're finding the peak of the toss. I think about, like, if I were to do a progressional thing, I would do toss, do a 2 turn, make sure I finish the 2 turn by the peak of the toss, so I'm able to watch it on the way down and know the amount of time that I have. If I want to do a 3 turn, I want to think about getting that 2 turn finished by the peak of it, getting that 2 turn nice and consistent, nice and tight, arms pressed down, make sure that all your energy is nice and squeezed, including your inner thighs and your arms. Make sure everything is nice and squeezed. Don't delay your head back so far so you'll throw yourself off balance. Use the white of your eyeballs and then watch the strap underneath. And finally going in for the catch, as I start to throw, make sure I throw a little bit more on the left side so I can nail the catch right in the center of my body, pulling apart at a nice rifle right flat.
And
Wow. Period. Okay.
Also, I think I could do a 3 turn now.
I know. I'm actually not scared to try it now. I'm going to go outside in the dark and go try it. I'm so glad that this is recorded because we can actually take this clip. We can give this to every high school kid that wants to learn how to do a 3-turn. This is probably the most informational, correct, technically accurate 60-second tech block that we have done on this show. So, Dylan, I am tipping my imaginary hat to you, sir.
Dylan, had you done a 3-turn before this season?
Yeah, I did one in Inspire. When, if you remember that show, there was like a rifle that flew over a pot of people.
Yes.
That was me that caught the center. And then the camera's like on the low part of the ground looking up. The one who caught it crossport was me. Into a sit-spin 7. That show was probably the most, I call it a mouse trap because of the amount of like, run here, throw this trick toss. Okay, now catching your leg. Okay, now do this foot twirl. I was like, that show was just nonstop of like what a typical Boston Crusader show would feel like right now.
I remember watching your live of your last performance. I remember that because we were just all like so devastated that all this was happening. And I remember watching your live of that. Oh, it was so good. It's a shame that season didn't finish.
Yeah.
The cast was so talented too.
Dylan, I want to be you when I grow up.
Same.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's so funny. I say the same thing to some of the first year members who were just so talented that I was marching with. And they're like, no, I want to be you. I want to have 5 titles on my jacket. And I was like, oh, this just shows that I'm old.
No.
In a funny way.
Yeah.
Well,
the
that
question is, so sorry. I was like, and the question that everybody asked me as soon as I got off the floor was like, great job. Are you done?
Are you done?
Are you done?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds. I've been going back and forth, and if they make the decision to come out for the 2026 season,
Yes.
And we will follow up with you here on a water break.
That is adorable.
Listen, to witness.
We're going to need you to do live, like either Gush and Go or What Do We Do from auditions for sure.
Top secret.
Well, speaking of, that was a solid 60-second tech block. So hopefully someone out there just got the advice they need. They didn't know that they needed. I know I definitely did. But it's time to switch things up because it's time for everyone's favorite. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
So this is the part of the show where we let loose a little bit or maybe not. This is your chance to rant about something in the marching arts that just doesn't make sense. Maybe it's a tradition that maybe it's a habit that performers can't seem to break. Maybe it's something that makes you think, why are we even doing this? Or why haven't we started doing this yet? Whatever it is, this is your moment to call it out. So who's got something they need to get off their chest? Trish, sister girl.
Okay, so what are we doing giving Scholastic A guards the same exact score they got at the Power Regional? And it wasn't just my team, because I started looking at the recap. I'm like, that one had that at the Power Regional. That one had that at the Power Regional. I get it. The neighborhoods are set up. We get it. They know what's up. They know what's going on. But it was just like, so when we got back, so after we left Kentucky, we got to the arena. The recap had been posted, and my assistant said, "You better go talk to the kids." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, they're really upset about the score." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Like, get over here." I said, "I don't care if we got a 5. I don't. You did your first Dayton. You had an amazing run in your first Dayton. I honestly don't care." But I kind of, talked them off the ledge a little bit about that. But they were kind of like, they're kids. Like, what are the judges lazy? And I'm like, I didn't get into the whole process. I didn't want to go there with them. Just know you had a great run. You're at your first Dayton. It's exciting. Who cares? Who cares? So, and it was a completely different panel too. So it's just what are we doing? And it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just us. And there was another guard from my local circuit, actually two. One, they both got the exact same score. And because of where they were, one advanced and one didn't. So it's just, it's just very interesting.
A class is crazy.
It is crazy.
Is cray.
It is.
Whitney, what are we doing?
Oh boy. Oh, I'm about to burst some happiness bubbles, but what are we doing proposing at WGI retreat? I'm sorry. I think it's tacky. Do let that moment be its own moment. Like, you're stealing people's thunder. Dylan got his gold medal. Get your gold ring out of here. I just don't think it's the appropriate place to do that. I just always have thought that it's weird and are you going to say no? Is somebody going to say no in that setting? Like, honestly, like nobody's saying no when they're being proposed to in a big crowd with all this excitement. Like, who's saying no? So like, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's a trap.
A trap bit.
This is so Phoebe and Mike right now from Friends. This is so Phoebe and Mike when she was like, they were at the game and she was like, oh, it's so tacky. And then he turned around and got on his knee. And then he tried to do it in the restaurant with the ring and the cake. And then she's like, oh, it's like those people who put the ring in the cake. And she's like, the ring's in the cake, right? So this is very Friends right now. But then I have a Friends reference for pretty much everything in life. So
that's my what are we doing? I'm sorry. And I hope they end up very happy. I hope they're happy with their decision and their choices, but it's just not for me. I just think it's tacky. The end.
Can't stop laughing right now. I'm so sorry, listeners. Okay. Dylan, what are we doing?
I was more so in just get through it, but I would say, what are we doing? Taking photos post run-throughs, like the pictures, talking about you sign. I'm like,
everybody's sweaty. The uniforms look gross at that point. Your makeup's all sweated off. It is not a good look. Why don't we do this?
Brown spot on my teal uniform from my foundation. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy photos of that. No, I'm not gonna.
I'm such a bad director. I didn't even see the Joe Lech thing at Truist. Like, we came out, they had their oranges, and then they were kind of like, the people were like, get the floor out. And then we got back to the hotel. I said to the band director, we didn't take a Joe Lech picture, but I honestly didn't see it. So whatever.
I will say we do in Florida at our circuit championships, we do a specific picture time before you start your rotation. So you get time to go and get yourself, make sure your face looks good, that you are in full drag, your hair is looking like what you wanted, what you intended to look like, and your costume does not have sweat marks on it. And we take the picture and then we go through rotation and we do the show. I have never understood why
post
this after the show when everybody is a hot mess, can't nobody breathe. Half the people are falling out on their asthma inhalers, laying down on the floor somewhere, and we got to drag them and hold them up and prop their asses up so that they can be in this picture with everybody looking a hot mess. And it's like, oh, this is the end of our season. No. Dylan, I'm giving you kudos for calling it out. Something needs to be said about it. We're bringing it to the table right now in this forum. Let's do the pictures beforehand, because don't nobody want to be taking a picture after us. We just want to love on our friends and be sweaty and stinky together and helping homegirl up with her asthma inhaler.
I want to get the tarp loaded in the van or truck or something. I can get out. I'm tired.
In the case of this year, fighting the rain,
So thankful we did not have props. I felt bad for Vox, who was within our same round of prelims, and every single thing we had a rain plan essentially. We practiced how we were going to wrap all the fabrics, all the tarp strips that we did. But I'm looking over and I see all those panels that they had. And I was like, I feel really bad for them, for that loading crew. So kudos to that entire team. And also because they're traveling from the other side of the country. I know that's easy.
Bonus,
Dylan,
what are we doing?
The picture at UD, was that in the concourse, where equipment warm-up used to be? Because I remember that's where it was last year.
Which picture? I'm sorry.
You were talking about the picture after prelims, the group photo.
Oh, yeah, it's where the old equipment used to
Yeah.
be. It's like, yeah. And they had those line of iPads or whatever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did ours at Nutter Center, and that was prelims for, it was prelims. Obviously they did it for everybody, but we were sobbing. Like all of the kids, staff, parents, everybody's sobbing because they were so beautiful. And then they had to go take their picture, and their makeup is just everywhere, looking a hot mess.
Cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing in a bonus. What are we doing? Just to piggyback off of what we were talking about with the props and the rain. What are we doing? Not having another tent outside so that people can travel from movement warm up out to equipment warm up in a tent, and also keep all of the props stored in some dryness. That's a bonus. WGI figured that out. I said it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fight me.
Just
whatever.
Connect the tents. Why
Connect
can't we
the tent.
just
Connect the tents. There's a tent company that will provide it for you. I know they will.
Right.
They can get you a tent big enough for equipment warm up. There can be a tent to keep all of this stuff dry, because we know it's going to rain or snow or something ugly in Dayton every year. Anyways, that was a bonus. That was not my real one. We'll come back to me in a minute. But Bryan, what are we doing?
Wristbands. Listen, my biggest thing is that we've grown so much in this activity that we only get 10 wristbands for staff and chaperones. I just feel like we just need to up it. I mean, I'm looking at the world-class staffs, and it's just like you have 15 people on staff. There's no way you have enough wristbands for that alone without paying the VIP package. So I would like to at least increase the wristbands. That's my biggest take. Get more chaperones, more help.
Right. Charge us more money, but give us more wristbands.
I'm all for it.
So we don't have to buy tickets for those people, because you can't get into those spaces with tickets. You have to have the wristband to go anywhere, like any show.
Or at least the option to buy more wristbands at the discount. Okay. So my what are we doing is probably going to either get me a boot or a toot, but I feel like it needs to be said. What are we doing having the A-class kids doing 2 shows in one day, running all over the state of Ohio?
That part.
Toot.
I get it. I understand. But it is the largest class in WGI. It is the most brutal class to fight in. And those kids and those judges are having to narrow all of that stuff down. And the turnaround time between semifinals and finals is insane. I know it's a huge, huge cost overage to move and start a class at least one day earlier on Wednesday, so that the kids can do prelims on Wednesday, semifinals on Thursday, and then Friday night have a true final show where the kids are rested and they're in their best light. But bless those babies' hearts out there on that floor on Friday night. They was tired, honey. They was tired. Nobody's having a fantastic, guards did have good runs, but nobody's having a flawless, fantastic run when they have ran all around the state of Ohio for 2 days, and then they have to go and be in finals. It's not fair. I'm sorry. Get mad at me. Again, I'm already going to be putting my boxing gloves on because I've talked about the tent. So if we're going to fight about this, we can fight about it. But
I think the only solution is to move it, have A-class start on Wednesday.
They did that a few years ago. In 19, the A-class was Wednesday, because it was actually nice, because I was with West Milford High School then, and they got to perform prelims in the arena. We were on last 10:30 at night in the UD arena.
Yeah.
So because nobody was performing in UD arena, they did SA there, and it was awesome. It was a great experience for the kids. But you got to go out a day late or earlier. That's the problem.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Touch and go.
All right. Well, we got that off our chest. So now let's bring some positive energy into the room. Welcome to Gush and Go. This is your chance to shout out something awesome happening in your life, marching arts related or not. Maybe you're excited about a performance, a student success, a big life event, or just something cool you want to brag about. No negativity here, just pure, unfiltered hype. So who's got something to gush and go about?
Just call us out, whoever.
Trish, how about you?
Make
All
Bryan
right.
go.
My gush and go is the clipping. What a
Yes.
cute,
Mm-hmm.
cheap, easy
Toot.
idea to
Toot.
bring everybody, and everybody's doing it. It's not, just the little SA guards. Everybody's doing it. And my kids got so excited, like, oh my God, I got clipped by, some World Guard or whatever. And it's the friendship bracelets for a thing for a minute, but that's time consuming and you got to go buy the stuff or whatever. This, you go to the dollar store, honey, you buy those clothespins and it's super easy. Everybody was, buying into it. I was kind of like a little jealous with my kids because I was like, I didn't get clipped. They're like, you don't clip your own guard. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. What cute, easy idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Jimmy
also,
says-
Trish, upset that I did not get clipped. And my
Same.
kids were like, you walk too fast. And I was like, literally called
I
out.
felt good. I had them all in my dreads. I was like, I felt something hitting. I was like, what is going on? It was like Eclipse kids were just hitting me up and
It's so
clipping
cute.
me down.
It really
Mhm.
is
It's
cute.
crazy how it blew up.
Hope they bring it back.
Too.
Me too, Brian.
Anybody that had like a Lululemon or any type of crossbody, like I saw those things lined up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even Elevate, like a couple of them had the top hats, or people who wore like anything like that, they were just like wrapped around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Jer-
cute.
No, Jeremy, I don't think percussion's going to do that. I don't even watch each other perform, so I don't think they're clipping each other.
They're too busy hanging out in the lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Jeffrey, what lot are we doing?
Who are you asking, Trish?
Christine, he has that catchphrase, lot are we doing? Because he hates
Lot
lots.
are
And
we
he's,
doing?
Mhm.
he's a
Yes.
percussion guy, but he doesn't like the lots. He
Yeah.
likes to watch the show.
Gotcha.
I was like, "Who's Jeffrey?" I met somebody.
All good.
Okay, Whitney, what are you gushing and going
Friends
about?
of the family.
I'm going to gush about Texas and how we freaking threw down at WGI.
And did.
It was awesome. There were 6 Scholastic A guards in finals, 6 Scholastic Open guards in finals, and we got 3 Scholastic medals. First gold medal in Scholastic World coming back to Texas. Like, it was just really awesome. And I understand that the state is big, but we're far away. Like, it takes a lot to get us there. Like, for example, my kids paid $2,100 a piece to go to WGI.
Yeah.
Oh.
We went through music travel, so like it is expensive. We had our tour guide, charter bus, all the things, flights. But like it's expensive to get there for us, and it's hard. And a lot of districts don't let you go every year, or they have like the 4-year rule where you can't travel out of Texas, but once every 4 years.
Mhm.
But we had 36 guards at WGI, so we had the highest amount by a good amount. So the ratio is going to be there probably, but like there's been years in the past. I remember 2023, a lot of Texas guards, including myself, we got preliminated. So it was awesome to see Texas just throwing down. And like in Scholastic A, it was like 11, 9, 8, 7, like it was like back to back Texas guards. And it was like that in Scholastic Open too. I think we had 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like it was crazy. So I'm just really happy for Texas, and I'm glad that we're finally like showing up and showing down.
Oh yeah, it was noticed by everybody. Dylan, what are you gushing and going about?
Okay, mine's a little more personal, like more like a little bit postseason. Gushing and going about the more exposure I got as an individual, more recognition within the activity, especially like because I had been spending so much of my time in it. Like we're like saying, "Oh, like you're this person, you're this person." So I've been really trying to hone in on like my choreography gig and get better at that, and that's what I've been improving on. And I guess another thing too, I'm starting my 3rd year in the architecture program at Arizona State University.
Wow.
Oh wow, good friend, Dylan.
Be done in 2 years.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Dylan, what do you like to choreograph the most so people can hire you?
I'm pretty versatile. I like pretty much anything. I know at Carroll, it's all about like we just tag team the sections. We're like, obviously my specialty is weapon, but sometimes I can write a cute flag twirl.
Bryan, what are you gushing and going about?
I'm definitely gushing over all the first-time finalists and even semi-finalists that made it this weekend. It was just so, like, everywhere I looked on social media, it was like, first time this, first time this. So it was just really just heartwarming to see that from all these different programs from across the nation. And for me personally, I was just very gushy about all the younger directors being able to be so successful. It just goes to show like how bright the future of the activity will still continue to be as it continues to evolve in its pageantry and its arts. So I was just gushing all over that.
A lot of women directors too.
Yes.
Of women.
A lot of female representation.
Shout out to Zadi at Little Ohm and the Woodlands. Fantastic job.
Yeah. So I'm going to gush about the fellowship that is WGI. Like, it was so good to watch Colorguard, to see so many people that you only get to see once a year or people you haven't seen years. And like events like the cookout where we got to sit around and it was like raining or whatever, but it didn't matter because we were together because this whole Colorguard world, just like every other part of pageantry arts, is a family. And I'm just excited that that all got to happen. And I got to see all of you, even though I didn't even know you, Bryan or Dylan.
It's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
All right, guys. So thanks for a great rehearsal this week. I can't believe we did this live. Thank you, Trish and Whitney and Dylan and Bryan. Dylan, where can we find you on your social medias?
My Instagram would be that_dude_Dylan18. I made it in high school, don't judge. And then my Facebook is just my full name, Dylan Michael Watson. And it's a picture of me holding the trophy.
Love it.
Bryan, what about you? Where can we find you on socials?
Facebook would just be Bryan Ayala. I have a picture with this rapper as my profile picture. Nothing too crazy on that one. And Instagram, you can either go to EHS Frisco Color Guards or just It's Bad Luck Bryan. Made it a while back, so no bad luck this year.
Awesome. All right. Got a question or a good topic to talk about? Email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com or find us on social media and DM us if you want to be on the show. We even have a new form, how to fill out to be a guest. We love having people on the podcast, so check that out at our link in the bio on our social media. Or you could just take out your phone, make a video, and send it to us, and maybe you'll see yourself on the podcast soon. One more thing. Don't forget, we have a YouTube channel now, so go and subscribe so that you can see us all there. Also, before you close out your podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and share this with a friend. Follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.